DC motor in the good morning. Today we'll start DC motor. In the last lecture we have seen construction and working principle of DC motor. Now we'll see different types of DC motor. Now there are various connection between field winding and armature winding in case of DC motor. First is shunt wound DC motor. Therefore, if you will observe the diagram, in shunt wound DC motor, armature winding and field winding are connected parallel to each other. Therefore, at steady state, the back electromotive force EMF depends directly on the supply voltage. Here, supply voltage is there. Since the back EMF is proportional to the speed, it follows that the speed controllability is good with the shunt wound configuration. Therefore, this is the characteristic diagram of the shunt wound DC motor. Now, if you see that if the speed increases, the rated torque decreases. Speed increases, the rated torque, percentage rated torque decreases. Now we'll see the video of this shunt wound DC motor. Then you will understand it clearly how shunt wound DC motor works. Okay, this is nothing but DC shunt motor in which armature and field windings are connected in parallel. Now next, series wound motor, DC series wound motor in which armature and field windings are connected in series as shown in the figure. Therefore, if you will see field winding and armature windings are in series. Now this is the characteristics of DC series motor. As the rated speed increases, percentage of rated torque decreases. Maximum permissible torque is 400 to 500% here. In series wound motors, as the name suggests, they are connected in series. This is shown in figure B. The relation between the back EMF and supply voltage is coupled through both the armature windings and the field windings. Hence, its speed controllability is relatively poor. But in this case, a relatively large current flows through both windings at low speeds of the motor, giving higher starting torque. Also, the operation is approximately at constant power. Therefore, at low speeds, they have shown that at low speeds, relatively large current flows through both windings. Therefore, higher starting torque will be there. See that at low speed, starting torque value is more from the graph also where it is possible to understand. Therefore, we'll see its video also. Okay, this is nothing but DC series wound motor in which armature and field windings are connected in series, and at low rated speed it is having high starting torque. Now next is DC compound motor. Compound name itself suggests that here both shunt winding and series winding will be there. That is, windings are connected in both parallel and series with armature winding. Therefore, this first field winding is connected with armature winding in series. Second field winding is connected with armature in parallel. That's why the name compound. In the compound wound motor, a part of the field windings is connected with the armature windings in series and the other part is connected in parallel as shown in figure C. This kind of motors provides a compromise performance between the extremes of speed controllability and higher starting torque characteristics as provided by the shunt wound and series wound motors respectively. Therefore, this motor compromises the performance between the shunt wound and series wound motors respectively. Now we'll see its video. This is nothing but DC compound motor. Now table 3.5 summarizes the properties derived from the above three types of windings. For an industrial robot, in general, it is said that the current excited field control methods involve too slow a response time and incur losses that make permanent magnet fields and armature control more attractive. Therefore, table 3.5 steady state characteristics of a DC motor. Serial number 1, serial number windings in a DC motor, field coil resistance, speed controllability, starting torque. 1. Shunt wound, field coil resistance high, speed controllability good, starting torque average. Second, series wound, field coil resistance low, speed controllability poor, starting torque high. Serial number 3, compound wound, field coil resistance parallel high, series low, speed controllability average, starting torque average. Therefore, you can see that high compound motor is used in case of shunt wound motor. Starting torque is average, and in case of series wound motor, starting torque is high. Therefore, if you use compound wound motor, starting torque is average. Also, in case of shunt wound motor, speed controllability is good. In case of series wound motor, speed controllability is poor. Therefore, if you use compound wound motor, speed controllability is average. Therefore, this compound wound motor is advantageous. Now, next is permanent magnet DC motors. Now see here, permanent magnet. This is the permanent magnet. This is the commutator. These are the brushes. This is the shaft. This is the wound armature. Now, the permanent magnet DC motor, which is also referred as torque motor, can provide high torque. Here, no field coils are used and the field is produced by the permanent magnets themselves. Field means magnetic field. These magnets should have high flux density per unit yielding a high torque by mass ratio. Typical materials with desired characteristic of such DC motors are rare earth materials such as samarium, cobalt. Some permanent magnet motors do have coils wound on the magnet poles, but these are simply to recharge the magnets if their strength fails. Due to the field flux being a constant, the torque of these motors is directly proportional to the armature current. Some other advantages are excitation power supplies for the field coils are not required. Reliability is improved as there are no field coils to fail, and no power loss from field coils means efficiency and cooling are improved. Therefore, this is nothing but permanent magnet DC motor. Now, two types of permanent magnet DC motor configurations are there: cylindrical and disc type. See that here construction is there. This is the outer part is yoke. Inside the yoke, these permanent magnets are there. This is the shaft, and this is the armature winding is there. However, these types of motors are more expensive. Two types of permanent magnet configuration are shown in figure. They are cylindrical and disc types. The cylindrical motor operates in a similar manner to that already described for other DC motors, except that there are no field coils, whereas the disc motor has a large diameter, short length armature of non-magnetic material. It is the cylindrical motor that is more commonly used in industrial robots. Therefore, we'll see its video now, permanent magnet DC motor. Okay, this is the permanent magnet DC motor. Now we'll see next brushless permanent magnet DC motor. Now you just see here brushes were there on the commutator. Now next is brushless, means no brushes will be there on the commutator. Therefore, Hall effect sensors are there. This is the permanent magnet inside the stator, and inside the again rotor is there. A problem with DC motor is that they require a commutator and brushes. In order to periodically reverse the current through each armature coil, the brushes make sliding contacts with the commutators, and as a consequence, sparks jump between the two and they suffer wear. Brushes thus have to be periodically changed and the commutator resurfaced. To avoid such problems, brushless motors have been designed. With the conventional DC motor, the magnet is fixed and the current carrying conductors made to move. With the brushless permanent magnet DC motor, the current carrying conductors are fixed and the magnetic field moves. The rotor is a ferrite or ceramic permanent magnet. In concept, brushless DC motors are somewhat similar to permanent magnet stepper motors. Therefore, you just see here brushless permanent magnet DC motor. Figure shows the basic form of such a motor. The current to the stator coils is outer part is stator coil. Inside that this permanent magnet is there. This inner part is rotor. The current to the stator coils is electronically switched by transistors in sequence around the coils. The switching being controlled by the position of the rotor so that there are always forces acting on the magnet causing it to rotate in the same direction. Therefore, this is nothing but brushless DC motor. We'll see its video. Okay, this is nothing but brushless DC motor. Now we will see advantages. The brushless motors have many advantages over conventional DC motors. For example, first, they have better heat dissipation, heat being more easily lost from the stator than the rotor. There is reduced rotor inertia, hence they weigh less and low mass for a specified torque rating. The motors in themselves are less expensive. They are more durable and have longer life, low maintenance, low mechanical loading, improved safety, quieter operation. They are of smaller dimensions of comparable power. The absence of brushes reduces maintenance costs due to brush and commutator wear, and also allows electric robots to be used in hazardous areas with flammable atmospheres such as are found in spray painting applications. One disadvantage is that the control systems for brushless motors are relatively expensive due to sensing and switching. Therefore, this is nothing but brushless DC motor. Now, DC servo motors and their drivers. We'll see this and then we'll stop. DC servo motors and their drivers. Servo motors are motors with motion feedback control, which are able to follow a specified motion trajectory. In a DC servo motor, both angular position and speed might be measured using, say, shaft encoders, tachometers, resolvers, potentiometers, etc., and compared with the desired position and speed. The error signal, which is the difference between the desired minus actual responses, is conditioned and compensated using analog circuitry or is processed by a digital hardware processor or a computer and supplied to drive the servo motor toward the desired response. Motion control implies indirect torque control of the motor that causes the motion. In some applications like grinding etc., where torque itself is a primary output, direct control of motor torque would be desirable. This can be accomplished using feedback of the armature current or the field current because those currents determine the motor torque. A typical layout of a DC motor is given in figure. This is the typical layout of a DC servo motor. See that this is the servo controller. Then it from this, see that's desired input is given to servo controller. Then that input is processed or amplified by the drive amplifier. It is fed to the DC motor. Again, whatever, then it is again fed to the load. Now again, if we have to measure the speed of the DC motor, here we can take the signal and whatever we can use tachometer or encoder, speed or angular position. This second signal is there. If you'll see it, it is taken out. It indicates angular position. This indicates speed. Again, it is fed back to the servo controller. Again, whatever correction is there, up the process continues till the actual output is equal to input or input is equal to output. We can use torque sensor also to measure the torque of the DC motor. See here, dotted line. Therefore, this is nothing but construction of DC servo motor. This video will see afterwards because this video is of 15 minutes. Note that the control of a DC motor is achieved by controlling either the stator field flux or the armature flux. If the armature and field windings are connected through the same circuit, that is one of the winding types, series, shunt or wound, both techniques are implemented seriously. Two methods of control are armature control and field control. In armature control, the field control in the stator circuit is kept constant and the input voltage to the rotor is varied in order to achieve a desired performance. In the field control, on the other hand, the armature voltage is kept constant and input voltage to the field current is varied. These winding currents are generated using a motor driver. It is a hardware unit that generates necessary current to energize the windings of the motor. By controlling the current generated by the driver, the motor torque can be controlled. By receiving feedback from a motion sensor, encoder, tachometer, etc., the angular position and the speed of the motor can be controlled. The drive unit of a DC servo motor primarily consists of a driver, that is amplifier we have seen. Commercially available amplifiers are linear amplifier or pulse width modulation amplifier, PWM amplifier, with additional circuitry and a DC power supply. The driver is commanded by a control unit, control input provided by a host computer through an interface input-output card. A suitable arrangement is shown in figure. This we are going to see this PC with control software is there. They are both connected. They are giving both input to each other. This is input-output interface board. Then the signal is given to the DC amplifier. Then again to the DC motor. Signal may be amplified or signal may be lowered. Then you can use encoder to measure the position of the DC motor shaft like this. The driver is commanded by a control input provided by a host computer through an interface input output card. See that this is the driver, means motor. It is controlled by the PC control software with through an interface of input output interface board. A suitable arrangement is shown in figure. Also, the driver parameters like amplifier gains are software programmable and can be set by the host computer. The control computer receives a feedback signal of the motor motion through the interface board and generates a control signal. See that this is the feedback signal. This computer receives feedback signal through this input output interface board. This is the feedback signal. Encoder is used to measure the position. The feedback is given to the software. Again, it sends the input. Again, it's that input is forwarded to the drive amplifier. Again, the input is forwarded to the drive motor. Again, that motor rotates. The control computer receives a feedback signal of the motor motion through the interface board and generates a control signal. The signal is then provided to the drive amplifier again through the interface board. An interface board or data acquisition card is a hardware module with digital to analog and analog to digital capabilities built in. These are generally parts of a robot control system. Therefore, this is nothing but controller of a DC servo motor. Feedback signal is taken, it is given to the input output interface board. Again, that signal is given to the computer. Again, it sends the control signal. Again, it is provided to this drive amplifier. Again, same signal is given to DC motor. Again, position is measured. Therefore, this process goes on continuing. Therefore, this is known as a closed loop control system. This process is known as closed loop control system because here feedback is taken. The final control of a DC motor is accomplished by controlling the supply voltage to either the armature circuit or the field circuit. A dissipative method of achieving this involves using a variable resistor in series with the supply source to the circuit. This method has disadvantages of high heat generation, etc. Instead, the voltage to a DC motor is controlled by using a solid state switch known as a thyristor to vary the off time of fixed voltage level while keeping the period of pulse signal constant. Specifically, the duty cycle of a pulse signal is varied as demonstrated in figure 3.16. This is called pulse width modulation. A commercial DC servo motor along with its controller unit is shown in figure 3.17. Therefore, the duty cycle of pulse width modulation signal. See that this is the on period. This is the pulse period from this point to this point. It is known as pulse period. This is the reference voltage. On x-axis time is there. On y-axis voltage is there. Pulse width modulation means whatever this width is there, this width you can control. Name itself indicate pulse width modulation. Modulation means what? Control. Means you can increase the width here between on and off, or you can decrease the width. That is nothing but pulse width modulation. This is the diagram of DC servo motor and its controller. Now we will stop here. Thank you very much. Let me take your attendance. Someone has joined. 66. Someone has joined because earlier 44 strength was there. Now 45 is there. 11, 12, 31, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. First of all, let me stop recording.